Miss Azia Ruff, also intern class of 2015, was born and raised in Seattle, and she will blow you away. She is a foster youth who was introduced to teens in public service as a result of her experience with the Treehouse organization. She is currently in college studying communications, and she hopes to use her education and life experiences to help bridge the gaps between different types of people. This will most likely be in the nonprofit or public sectors. She is an artist, a poet, a student, and more than anything, she has a passionate desire to make the world a better place. I think that that's a common theme here. Next, we will have Dr. Michael Greer sit up on stage with her. He is a TIPS parent of two, in fact, Alyssa and Vaughn Greer. He is also a national and international speaker and educator focusing on integrative medicine that takes the best of conventional approaches and combines it with natural medicine and homeopathic philosophies. Dr. Greer trained at Hahnemann Medical University in Philly and was board certified OBGYN in 1984 and named Teacher of the Year at Swedish Hospital Family Practice Residency Program. Dr. Greer retired as an OBGYN in 2011 and now lectures and consults exclusively for healthcare. Let's please welcome Azia and Michael to send us home.
Thank you. We're live?
Yes, we are.
All right. Welcome, Azia.
Hi.
Azia, let's have a small conversation. And let's invite all these people to be a part of our communication and our thread.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Azia, so I am so honored to be here with you today, and after spending time with you for lunches and conversation for 3 hours each time, we had a great time, and now we're friends.
Yes.
And we're even Facebook friends because your friend who we went on Facebook with, you said, we have a mutual friend. And it was actually a young musician, poet, artist, and you said, how do you know him? And I said, what?
I brought him into this world.
So I delivered one of her new best friends. But
Yeah.
we're here today to talk about how grateful both you and I both are for having TIPS enter our doorstep, and how I'm so much gratitude for them taking in my children, Alyssa and Vaughn, to give them self-esteem and actually just a start for actually their own first paycheck and just starting their way in the world. So when I met you, and I first read about you first before I met you, and then it was like, you're so powerful. And I was taken away by your beauty and thinking that you couldn't have had a hard life because you're too beautiful, and it's like it's not in your future. And so much of TIPS is talking about what you can do for other people, which you did. But the other page of this is the people that TIPS selected as their interns and how much it changed you and how much it made you better. And I want to read one section of your interview that you had, and it's like it says, each day we are alive meant that we survived the last. That every day is our best fight. And every day we win because we are here today. And those who didn't make it have won because they have us to continue their story. And after I read that, I said, oh my God, it's so heavy that how can you have so much damage in your life and then say you're going to help somebody else, and if they didn't make it, you're going to be their survivor. So we only have 6 minutes to actually tell our story. To all these people, to tell them, please support TIPS, the TIPS interns, and make it possible for TIPS to hire more people different than you and similar to you, to allow this program to foster to the good it's going to do and doing down the future. I want to ask you first about, you said that your life has not been easy, and we're going to tell people here about your biological and your foster family and schools and running away and hospitalization and drug use and alcohol and everything. It's a scary, it's a lot. So I want you to talk to me for a bit to let me know why you're so grateful.
Is this on? Yes.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm really grateful because of the opportunity that my life experience has given me to grow. And the fact that I kind of started in a really bad place, it was painful at the time, but what I've learned kind of going back and reflecting over that experience is that.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm
going to help you.
Words.
I'm going to help you because when she said, I came from a bad place, and that bad place is so much of you survived life. You didn't try to kill yourself. You didn't try to give up. You said, I'm going to actually survive, and then you survived because both your biological parents ended up being addicted to alcohol and to other substances. And you found yourself running away from home at the age of 8 years old. And I told you, I said, how can an 8-year-old run away? I mean, you're only 8. And you said,
I could not stand to watch that happen to people that I loved and to people that I cared about. And I knew that I wanted better for myself. And so I took my little 8-year-old self and I left and I lived with my great-grandma for a little bit, and that didn't work out. And so for the next 9 years, I lived in about 10 or 11 places, some with friends, some with family, and some with strangers. And during that time, it was really hard for me to really envision a future for myself. And the ideas of happiness and hope were very foreign to me because all I could worry about was survival. But that changed about a year and a half ago when I met the woman that I stay with right now. And her name is Rita. She owns the group home that I live in.
Rita is how old?
She's 78.
78.
She's 78.
And you live in a group home with how many other young adults?
4.
And do you have a curfew?
Yes.
What time?
9 o'clock.
Go, girl.
No. No, I'm kidding.
So I want to hear about
good.
Rita.
Yeah. Well, Rita is, she has done a lot of things with her life, and she knows just about a little bit about everything underneath the sun. And getting to be in her home and having her in my life really
gave you security.
It gave me security, and it really opened my eyes to the powerful being that is inside myself.
Now, I want to stress the importance of tips in that they've chosen people whose life they changed, because just by having you as their intern, your life was changed immediately. And my children are actually now grown, and they're engineers and event planners, and they're professionals, and they're doing great work, because they actually had this positive esteem. But in your case, it was just like such a beginning, because when you actually came to Rita's house, you ended up as a foster child, but prior to that, for 10 years, you actually were bounced between total strangers, friends, your mom when she was actually not using, your father when he wasn't using, back to your mom again, and only when you got into an argument and fight and said, I'm 8 years old and I'm going to fight and I'm going to actually be out of this house, were you then hospitalized from fighting with your mother, and a foster worker then came into the scene.
Yes. And, that happened almost 2 years ago, and it was that really low point in my life that brought me on the incline, that brought me to TIPS, and I feel like that really created that transformation in me, because
What was your job at TIPS? What was your company, and what did they do?
I interned at Illumination, and they provide photo shoots for families impacted by terminal or life-threatening illnesses. And my responsibility, I was in charge of the whole backup. And so I dealt with a lot of the files and information of the families that we served, and I got to look at the images. And just, it was so powerful to me to see these families together and to just see what Illumination does for these families. And it taught me a lot about just, like, I guess just the nature of life itself. And that internship really changed me in ways that I would have never imagined. And it just really, it gave me a lot of like hope. It gave me a lot of faith in myself and in others, and just in the world in general. And just like being able to work with my coworkers who I could clearly see put their heart and all of their soul into what they did really, really motivated me to be my best and to give back to those people that are investing in me.
And so are you grateful for TIPS to have chosen you?
Most definitely.
I know. I feel the exact same way. It's just like it's a gift of beautiful people doing great things and partnering with great organizations. So they've done good, all from good. And it's not just saying that you're choosing kids that actually are going to make it anyway. You're choosing kids who you don't know their potential until you actually give them a chance to say, prove it, let me prove myself to you. So in your road of actually just your moms, your 10 houses, 10 different places to live, having lived with friends, almost being homeless so many times and being by yourself, would you have changed anything in your path that led you to this door and this stage right now?
Nope, not at all.
Why?
Those challenges built that character for me. And like I said earlier, without being at that low point, I would not be able to grow to the heights that I have today. And just, it instilled in me just, my internship at TIPS really gave me the values of responsibility, integrity, and faith. And seeing how they were embodied in my coworkers, seeing how they were embodied in those who run TIPS, and seeing how they had the faith in me to embody it really gave me that strength to do it and to be my best and to give back to my community.
I think you survived. I think every day has been a battle for you, and you're so elegant, and you're so gracious, and have so much gratitude and so much thanks, but you don't wear it on your sleeve, because it's like your graciousness is just beautiful. I think it's time for us to ask these lovely people to actually help us, to help other people just like you, just not like you, whether they're black, white, heavy, skinny, any nationality. Human potential is so at stake. And human investment in youth is the key that we need to actually just stress, to say, I think it's now time to ask the entire audience, can you actually help us? Can you actually dig deeper tonight than you would have normally? You knew how much you were going to give when you walked in the door today. And could you please go a little bit deeper? So if it's $20 you're giving, can you give 25? If you're giving 100, can you give 2? If you're giving 5, can you give 1,000? Because if we have more interns, then we're able to actually give the message to more people and more opportunity. My children benefited greatly. And we lived on Mercer Island, and they'd say, Dr. Greer, you don't need this. I said, I do need this. My children need their self-esteem just as much as you do. So I want you to ask them also, and I'll be quiet.
Yes, well, I'm asking you guys to give to TIPS, please, because in your support for TIPS, you're doing more than giving a check. You're empowering youth to have that transformation that they never thought possible. You are supporting nonprofits who are serving many different types of people in need. And in the bigger picture, you are helping out the community. You are helping out the community and really creating the leaders of tomorrow. And I think that's, I don't know what more of a payout you could ask for, honestly. And so if you guys could do that, I think that you guys will be doing a very big thing. And I think that your money will go even farther than you can imagine.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.